We'd like to welcome you back. It is still Good Morning, Anambra. And in this segment, we have been joined by Honorable Timothy Ifediorama, member representing Njikoka 1 constituency in Anambra State House of Assembly. You're welcome, Honorable.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to everybody.
Okay. And in this segment, we're going to look at judiciary and democracy in Nigeria. And democracy, like they say, is a government of elected representatives where the rule of law and the fundamental human rights is applied and as well prevails. It is often referred to as government of the people, for the people, by the people, because the people with the people's wishes prevails. And it's also a system of rule that is organized in accordance with the principle of popular sovereignty. While judiciary, which is regarded as the third tier of government responsible for law interpretation, has so much in common with democracy. Perhaps that's why we are bringing them together, judiciary and democracy in Nigeria. Now, sir, would you please give us a background check of the relationship between democracy and the judiciary in Nigeria, maybe starting from when you know, otherwise I would like to send it to independence era.
Well, of course, you did a very good, shall I say, definition and description of the subject in question, which is democracy. Especially the aspect of the fact that you touched that it's a government of the people. Any government that is devoid of the people, then it's not democracy. So that's a very certain definition all over that has been acceptable to everyone as the true both meaning and definition of democracy. Now, of course, our democracy, I would say, dates back to the First Republic, then Second, and then, of course, Third. But for the purpose of our discussion, we're going to be measuring or be looking at the Fourth Republic, which, of course, emanated or started in 1999. And judiciary, of course, like you said, Section 6 of Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, situates the judiciary properly as the third arm of the government. Now, of course, each time we talk about, we'll say third arm, second arm, or first arm. It's not actually in the order of priority or something, but that's how our Constitution has placed them. And so it's an arm that is saddled with the responsibility of interpreting the law and, of course, giving proper meaning to all of the tenets of our Constitution, both instant and enacted laws. They help to break it down to the point that justice is not just done, but seen to be done.
And some other person have joined us to help us look at this all-important topic. And he is Comrade Uzo Ikemeze. Comrade Uzo Ikemeze is a political analyst and also a legal practitioner. We'd like to welcome you back because you were with us during the newspaper section.
You was at home. You
smile when that one was added, a legal practitioner.
What's important is that Congress. It's even important than
okay, more important than
yes. Because
okay, what will be talking?
We still have Honorable Ifediorama with us in the house. So you're still welcome.
Thank you.
So what we've been talking is judiciary and democracy.
And then before we go on, okay. I think we'll have something went on. I mean, it happened yesterday. I think it was 2018-2019 legal year of Anambra State, and the church service was celebrated yesterday. And I don't know, you may have one or two things to talk about that, but before then, let's quickly get a view of what really happened yesterday. We're coming back.
identified the reluctance of witnesses to testify as the bane of the criminal justice system, said the measures which his government is working out in partnership with the judiciary will not only speed up processes in the system, but also ensure that those held in prisons for no just cause are granted freedom. Thanking the state judiciary for their immense support that has enabled his government succeed, Governor Obiano noted that he has resolved all pending issues bordering on their welfare, such as cars for judges, payment of workers' leave and training allowances, as well as emoluments of retired judges, among others. He also commended the State House of Assembly and the judiciary for expressly consenting to the establishment of revenue courts across the state. The State Chief Judge, Justice Peter Umade, said Anambra State Judiciary under his leadership will continue to do its best to avail the Anambra prompt dispensation of justice, and thanked Governor Obiano for identifying with them on the celebration. Earlier in a homily, the Catholic Bishop of Awka Diocese, Most Reverend Paulinus Okafor, reminded judicial officers of the need to use their hallowed profession to give direction to the nation's leaders, especially as it has to do with giving justice to the oppressed and challenging the unwarranted attack on freedom of religion and herdsmen killing across the country. He urged legal practitioners to always shine the light by embracing godliness and shunning all forms of ungodliness in their practice.
The gospel of today offers us a sound lesson of which to anchor our reflection, how to live a life. As a way of challenging his disciples to take their call seriously, Jesus is desperate to test them and know what lies around and hides his own life out of them, or pulls it on lampstand to his life.
The event, which was well attended by members of the bar and bench from within and outside the state, aims to bring practitioners together to pray and seek the face of God for a successful new legal year.
All right, we'd like to welcome you back. It is still good morning, Anambra. And before we left to see this, Theophilus, you wanted to ask a question?
Of course, as we are talking about judiciary and democracy in Nigeria, we've seen the emergence of 2018-2019 new legal year for the judiciary. Do you think this presence will add color to democracy in Nigeria? I'll come to you.
Very well. It will, in the sense that, first of all, I have to commend the Anambra State for the synergy between the judiciary and the executive. And the executive not interrupting judiciary and leaving them to be independent. And that is why this annual or opening legal year is an annual ritual, okay? You know, in legal framework that which marks the beginning of the legal activities in the year. Okay, this is 2018-2019, and you can see most of things that are happening here, that the chief judge and the state governors, you can see the synergy between them. Okay, the governor will not use, because of his power of the executive, to interfere in the judiciary. I can give you an example of one of the celebrated cases between a man that transits himself during the time of what do you call it? Every Saturday, end of Saturday sanitation, okay, and the car was impounded by people that are task force. The man went to court and gave judgment that is a fundamental human right, freedom of movement. If governor was a person that is doesn't obey what they call the rule of law, whatever it is, he would have used his power to interfere, but he doesn't do that. So you see that.
Okay, Honorable, you realize that over time most individuals have been languishing in cell without anybody actually witnessing for them and then receiving justice. With the emergence of this, do you see the masses receiving justice after all?
Well, just like the barrister has said, this is an annual ritual, as it were, that marks the beginning of a new legal year for the judiciary. Just like we all celebrate a new year every 31st and 1st of January, it becomes a time of reappraisal, a time of reflection, and having to have a retrospect of what has taken place in over the past year, and then helps them to be in a new frame mind of tackling what is before them. So I think it's really will be one aspect that the judiciary will look into, because a lot of people are languishing in our prisons who ought not to have any business being there in the first place.
Giving back justice
I know
to the
that
president.
when you were talking, Barrister Kemeze, you talked of autonomy, judicial autonomy. But I know that in Nigeria, the 1960, 1963, 79, 89, and 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria made provisions for judicial autonomy and roles. So why does it seem that the executive arm is still controlling the judiciary? I'm coming to you. Why does it seem that the executive is still controlling the judiciary?
Well, I think it's often said that he that plays the piper dictates the tune. Yeah, most of this autonomy that we talked about, judicial autonomy, legislative autonomy and all that, still centers on the financial aspect. There has to be some kind of legislation. We have to re-evaluate and look at that one more time, because the only control, that is very effective and strong is in the aspect of finance. Now, if
Perhaps appointments.
Yeah, an appointment, exactly. I was about to come to that, because if the executive still remains the person or the arm that still appoints, our judges and our justices and all of that, then of course there is to an extent or limit of their independence. You see, because you play loyalty to the one that had brought you to a particular office.
Okay, but why is it like that? Barrister Ekemese, because I know that they wanted to try that on the 7th and the 8th National Assembly, and they said no. They nominated their leaders and elected them into powers, and perhaps trying to exercise their independence from the executive. Why wouldn't the judiciary do so?
Thank you very much. I first of all want to use a minute to lay some emphasis. One is that, we have three arms of government. We have judiciary, we have executive, and we have legislators. Okay? There's 5 important things that you should know. Okay? And I'm happy that we're talking about democracy now. Okay? You have the law. You have the law, the lawyers, you have the lawmakers, you have the law court, and you have the law enforcement. These are 3 principles that evolve, okay, in law. And what are the symbols? What are the pivot point in these 3 arms? We talk about the lawmaker. The lawmaker, okay, are the symbol of democracy, which is legislators. You see? So if the executive, okay, is trying to interfere, okay, in the law-making body, we don't have democracy. And that is all.
Remove
law-making body or legislators, there's nothing like democracy. Executive can be existing, usually can be existing, but when these things is not there, you don't have democracy. So that's why National Assembly stood their ground to defend that the symbol of democracy is legislator, and we are people that make the law, and we are elected. We're not even nominated. It is born in the in the onions of the electorate.
You know, it beats me when we say we don't have democracy, because I know that decades after the entrenchment of democratic institutions in Nigeria, we are still talking about not having democracy. Are we still blaming the military after how many years of independence?
Yeah, you see.
Do we blame now?
Yeah, we'll still do that, because most of what we have as our 1999 constitution, even as amended, that is why a lot of people are clamoring for constitutional amendment, is a carryover of the military. The Decree 2, Decree 29, and so many of them are what we have, as our laws. And, they did that so that they will be in control, like this aspect of the executive appointing a judge, a justice, and all of that. That is why I agree with the barrister. The legislature still have so much to do in legislative engineering to ensure that that very aspect is broken up. We have the Judicial Service Commission, and all of that. They should be allowed to, run their system. As
you are depending on the legislatures to do that for you. Have you started lobbying? Because I know that in Nigeria, whatever you want to get, you lobby.
Yeah, but you see, in our own level, where we are in the state assembly, we can't do that. That is part of the exclusive legislative list, and it's for the National Assembly to do.
Can we now go a little bit back? Sometime in June, an announcement was made concerning New Democracy Day. And then I think it was the right of the judiciary to get that adjusted to the Constitution and then make sure that this is being implemented. Do you see a kind of disconnect between the executive and the judiciary in this regard?
Okay. Well, what is the problem is that we have what we call rule of law and rule of force. Okay? Rule of law, you talk about the case of Ojukwu versus the governor of Lagos State. That's what I'm trying to say. You see, let me just put it in a short time. The military, apply rule of force. And when rule of force comes before rule of law, we don't have democracy. And that is why the executive and the president of Nigerian government are applying rule of force before rule of law. Okay? It is rule of law that overrides rule of force. Like if the court give order, to be carried out, and after some time that order was violated, they will not apply rule of force. But you find that
violated by who?
By the judgment debtor. Not judgment debtor, judgment creditors. That's what I'm trying to say. The rule of force will not apply. Then by time you now see that the executive, like in Nigeria, what happened in June? You declare Democracy Day, 12th June, Democracy Day. By applying executive order.
Okay. We have just very few minutes to go, please. We just witnessed Osun governorship election. How will you assess the outcome? Are we going to see judicial interpretation? I was asking about that yesterday, and today I saw that PDP is going to court.
I think they have a right first and foremost to go to court to get that to address their grievances. I think what has happened in Osun State the INEC need to look at it again, and a good thing the judiciary will be looking into the laws about the electoral laws that talked about the number of votes that are void and the number of votes that exceeds the other. I think that is where we are having some issues. But one salient point, and which is really important, is the fact that INEC was looking at the law, the registered voters in that very particular area, instead of the accredited, for that day.
Now we don't have much time. Is democracy in Nigeria growing, or are we dwindling? just
Finally,
as you want to go.
Okay. Now, democracy in Nigeria is dwindling. Let me just give you an emphasis of what I'm coming. What happened is because there is no obedience to the rule of law.
Okay, no obedience to the rule of law.
What is the problem? Is it the same thing? No obedience to the rule of law?
I think I agree with him.
Thank you very much.
I agree with him.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning, honorable men, and talking about Timothy Ifediorama, member representing Njikoka 1 constituency in Anambra State, House of Assembly, and then Barrister Uzo Ekemeze, a legal practitioner and political analyst, would like to thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
for having me.
Thank you. I'll stay here with Theophilus Okoha. Do stand by, for we are still coming.